a lot of respect for Coach Diaco and his football team. Going into the game, we knew that we were going to have to play well to beat them. They've been into a lot of tough games. We started watching them kind of a while back because I thought they played Navy as well as anybody had played them, and they just been probably a half a yard here, half a yard there short. I also think that we were blessed with where the open date happened. I thought we were starting to get a lot of that energy from the open date, whereas the flip side of it, UConn, I don't know how many they've gone in a row right now. A lot of weeks of practice, so we were and playing, so we were blessed to have that happen. We had 3 phases of good football. We have to continue to play well together defensively. Most every down, people did their job. Pressure was created by every position group. I thought our linebackers tackled. Our defensive front, I thought they controlled the line of scrimmage, and I thought our DBs covered really, really well with a lot of putting them in a lot of pressure situations, and then also putting them in pressure situations from a playbook standpoint. They did everything that we asked them to do. We were very happy with the way they came out of that game. I think they gave up 295 yards of offense, where some of that was scramble yardage, where when you get scramble yardage, you know that somebody's being covered completely, and a guy got out. We lost contain there a couple of times. We've got to clean that up. Offensively, I thought creativity and the plan married to execution by great players had a direct connect to our points per game being different than they have in the past. And then special teams was just a major plus for us. I thought both Davis and Worth did a great job in kicking the football as specialists. But my special teams play of the week, once again, it seems like I'm talking about him every week, is Joe Carter, getting that ball out on that fumble and us being able to come out and get that. It's one of the first times in a long time that I've seen special teams have a direct effect to us winning the game. All in all, we played really, really hard and did a good job together. It was a football team that we really played well together. When one phase played well, the other came out and played well, and then the other went out and played well. Usually people talk about when one phase doesn't play well, the other phase needs to play well. The truth is when one phase plays well, if everybody else can take it up a notch, you have a chance to change games. And that's what really happened in the third quarter. That was a connection of some good football played right there, and it changed the whole outcome of the football game. Moving on to Tulsa, really good football team that run the ball as well as any team because of their scheme. I think their offensive front, you have to start with them. They got one of the best offensive fronts we'll see running the football. And their zone schemes, they do a really, really good job of getting to the second level and getting people blocked and getting cover on linebackers. And what happened last week is they just consumed so many of the backers. And what can you say about Flanders? He's just a tough tackle at times, but he hits the ball. He crams it, and he crams, and then it'll turn into a big play for him. Really like their run game. But the connection to what they do with their splits and their wide receivers, with so much space on the field, you're removing defensive backs 8 to 9 yards. Sometimes people might say that may affect your passing game and hurt you from going down the field. But he's found a way to kind of utilize both of them, and just really impressed with what they do offensively. Offensively, they got some guys right at record-setting breaking numbers at receiver. They catch it as well as any team that we played, whether it be the slants or the fades. They're doing a good job down the field. They also do a good job. Coach has always done a good job of finding the matchup that he likes the best. All the way back to the Tulane game and the other games, he's found matchups, and he's going to make you stop him. He's going to call it until you can stop him. I like that. I love the way he calls games and how he gets his team prepared defensively. Trent Martin and Jesse and Craig Suits in their front and their linebackers, they have a lot of experience. I think one of the things that Coach Montgomery has done a good job of is really growing the team from year 1 to year 2. Really understanding that experience means a lot, especially as it pertains to the scheme with their running. They've decreased the amount of yardage that they've given up from one year to the next. They've decreased it probably by about 100 yards or so. So as you look at a team that's continuing to grow defensively and a team with the offensive power that they have and special teams, them playing as well as they did early and throughout the year by creating punt blocks or muffs or field goal blocks, you're looking at a great team that has grown quite a bit. And with us, I think we are starting to see the benefits of some good matchups We're also starting to see the benefit of some good combinations on defense and offense, and coaches understanding exactly how guys play well together. I think the time, like I said, that we had off in the open date was very beneficial to our team this past week. It was the first week where we really saw energy and enthusiasm throughout the game from so many different sources, and we thought our guys came into the game and with great spirits and ready to go all week.
Was Terrell injured last week?
No, he wasn't. No, he's not injured.
And in terms of the depth chart there, how do you like those two guys now split? Jordan Williams now playing alongside of Cam.
We thought that helped our communication issues. We've had some communication issues, not just with Terrell, but as it pertains to the way people communicate to him and the information comes to and goes to other people. Our team, players and coaches, kind of combined, felt like that Jordan and Cam had played so well separate of each other. We knew that we would have a problem trying to do this for an entire year because that Mike backer position can be so physical that, at any time you could lose one of those guys. And both of them communicating the whole game was very stressful. So now you give a guy a chance, Jordan, who's played well, really well at times, a chance to not have to communicate so much, but can take communication and give it to someone else. And then we were kind of relying on Cam with more of our calls on the inside. It really put together a good combination. I thought they tackled well together, but I just thought at times it made us really, really gap sound. And both of them have so much information and knowledge about getting people aligned, it helped us.
Can you talk about your situation at tight end a little bit, Baggett behind Hardy, and not using the tight end a whole lot in terms of pass catching at the moment, but
yeah, we want to continue to grow that. We thought that, Hardy has really did a good job in practice. He's been great in practice, trying to help us create a run game in the red zone, a run game that needs to get points. He's been a little bit more physical at the point of attack than Baggett. We think that Baggett does give us a chance to throw and catch a little bit better, but if you're playing one tight end most of the game just to throw the football, then 10 personnel helps you a little bit as well. Certainly when people start knowing that you're throwing the ball to, just 86. I really don't care what they think when we're running the football. We just need to be as good as we can be in the run game from a tight end, just at the tight end position. So that's kind of where we are. We're hoping that we're going to still continue to see a lot of growth in Baggett in the run game and in the passing game, and he'll continue to grow and he'll see more snaps.
Was Saturday the most complete 60-minute performance you've seen so far this year for your team in all phases?
Definitely. Once I went back and looked at it on tape, there were plays that we almost made that people will never know about that we executed at the highest level that I've seen a defense or an offense execute at. We had a couple of runs, a couple with Sean that could have been maybe 40, 50-yard, big-time plays, and we just had a slip up or just a nick by a guard or something that happened, and our offensive front did a really good job sometimes getting cover on guys. The execution was really there. Our passing game was really sharp for the most part. There's a couple of throws that we could have been better on. Our perimeter blocking outside of two situations in the game was as good as it's been. And then defensively, coverage, we didn't drop guys in coverage. That was the biggest deal. You didn't get a chance to see Jordan. Jordan had some great coverage opportunities in the game, and he did a great job. We didn't drop coverage on the inside. And then outside, the biggest play they made on us, we failed. With Kobe. I mean, we fell down. So our coverage was good. I thought our alignment was good in our secondary. And then special teams-wise, if we can take away that first play of where that ball got out, I thought we played well. But the biggest thing about that ball got out, and then we had a 4.5-yard stop to stop any kind of momentum that happened there. And then you get the ball back and you go right down. So when you put all that together, it was probably one of the most complete games that we've had here.
How big was scoring that first touchdown? I mean, did it feel like the weight of the world was lifted because you're in the red zone and you get it done? And it seemed like the rest of the game when you got the red zone things went pretty easy, but that first one.
Yeah, I really don't know what the weight of the world feels like, but it felt good. Hey, it felt good to score, and I wanted our coaches to also understand that probably 90% of the time I would have kicked a field goal there if it was in a different type of situation and our red zone hadn't been what it has been at this point in time. But I wanted to set the stage that we were going to do everything that we could do to get a touchdown there. And once we got the touchdown, I also knew that where we were on the field, when you're in the 3, 4, 5 yard line, there's some plays that you got that you can run that gives you a good chance, whether it's run or pass. You get in the 7, 8 yard line, whether it's first, second, or third down. Those are some tough downs because you want to run the football and you want to take care of the football. You got to realize that one of our biggest issues in the red zone this year has been turning the football over. So as much as you want to see the ball in the air down there a lot, 3 can help you if you're scoring, at a high level. But we really needed a touchdown there, and we thought we had a good plan inside of the 5 to try to get touchdowns, as you saw a couple of them there, and we needed that. I thought our offense needed it, but I think our defense, was the ones that really needed it, because once you get a big stop like that, if you can go see your offense go score, you're ready to go back out on the field again and get another stop because you feel like you can punch it in.
Do you think you may be using James Summers' throwing ability a little bit more in these next coming games?
I don't know.
Maybe. Tulsa has a ton of weapons. You've talked about a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Evans has been there a while, and Kevin Lucas on the outside. You've had some problems when they have these go-to receivers who've been there and done many things at the college level. How do you plan to match up with Lucas specifically? Who has that assignment?
I think last week, we got to see a guy that was a go-to guy at receiver. We managed him. Our guys, because of communication, managed him. I think we learned a lot last week, not in the game. I think in practice. We're really working to try to be as much good on good in practice as we can be for our defense, so that they can maintain and try to manage 7 on our team. So we're trying to stop Isaiah Jones in practice, and we're trying to stop Jimmy Williams in practice. Probably a lot more than a lot of other teams are going good on good, just because of those situations as we move forward. Now, we also try to protect them. They know don't get close to Zay and don't get close to Jimmy when the ball's in the air, but we're trying to maintain those guys and learn how to manage them from a defense. So we're going a lot more good on good. We're starting to practice with a lot more throwing. We're spending a lot more time against each other in the red zone. And I'm trying to get the defense and the offense to kind of work together with some calls. So we're marrying calls that maybe Coach Montgomery may be using on offense, and then we're marrying in other calls. But we're trying to add a little bit of time in practice time so we can manage our receivers. If we can manage our receivers, we feel comfortable and pretty good about managing other people's receivers.
Was that a recent adjustment, going more good on good?
Well, we're going a little bit more, yeah. So we probably picked it up by 8 snaps or more since the open date. But the open date, once again, gives you the ability to go a little bit more good on good, and it gives you the ability to also let your team rest a little bit so that you can go good on good, and you're not creating these snaps on a team that hadn't been in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks of just continuous ball plus camp. And when you got that kind of connected, the open date gave us the ability to kind of, get those guys juiced back a little bit.
Coach, 4 games left to go in the season. 3 out of 4 to get the bowl eligibility. Do you think at the end of a month from now we'll be looking at a bowl team?
I certainly hope so. I think that what happened to this team this past week is the best thing to do. That'd be the best way to go. I could sitting up here, I would be a lot different if the outcome wasn't like it was. But I really thought this team, South Florida, Cincinnati, got the win taken out of us a little bit on a turnover or a non-turnover, but I thought this team really responded in practice and working hard. And we had a lot of tough personnel decisions to make this week, and our team we didn't balk at it. They just went along, and they've always practiced hard. But we've got to win a big time game on the road under the lights, and that's going to be our theme. We're at this point in time, the way our team feels, that we're 1-0 and we got 1 to go.
What's the thinking behind the shift of Bobby Falk from safety to corner? Obviously at 6'4", he presents a large physical presence on that side of the field.
Knowing our personnel, also, we didn't have Corey for the game, but knowing our personnel, a few weeks back in the open date, we started working him to see, how he could help us. We knew he had a history at corner, and then we also knew that we were starting to see, some big receivers. We knew going forward we would see a couple of guys, but go-to guys. I think his length gives him the ability to stay closer to people, and he doesn't have to really be that close, if you know what I'm saying. He's 2 or 3 yard cushion, but when the ball's in the air, he's so long he can get a hand up on certain receivers. I think he's added a different element for us out there. When we tell him to stay on top too, people have gotten behind us this year. When we tell him to stay on top, he just has a way of using leverage to stay on top. But we're finding that out more and more as we get going. Not to say he's not going to have some struggles in coverage at times. They all do. But just the more and more we learn about this team, and he's a young player still with another year to grow. But we think we may be finding some personnel answers and fixes throughout the team.
Coach, we talked last week about winning, breeding confidence. You've been around the team now over, 48 hours after the game. Have you noticed a difference in maybe the attitude or maybe the pep and the step of the team now that you got that win under your belt?
Yeah, that was the best defensive practice I've seen Sunday since we've been here, since maybe any place that I've been on the day after the game. It was the best defensive practice. I say that because I spent more of our time with our defense in yesterday's practice. It's not unusual for me on a Sunday because I get the chance to see the plan on, kind of moving forward. I spent more of my time on Sundays with the defense, and then offensively Monday I kind of change gears and offense and special teams and then wrap up defense at the end of the day. But I thought defensive practice yesterday was as clean and really energetic and guys talking and really holding each other accountable as I've seen since I've been here. And that made me feel good because I know what went on Saturday night, but Sunday we were ready to go. We sprinted afterward. We did everything afterward. And guys were over here this morning as well on their own. So I felt like you might have hit a chord with saying that confidence really helped. They needed to get a victory there, and especially just watching the defensive energy, you know that it's coming from something that's connected to the win.
Coach, with all the turnarounds you made with red zone efficiency, sacks, turnovers, all that, what do you do in practice to make sure that stays consistent moving forward?
What we did last week, we'll continue to try to get better at our plan, but the process is what it is. Our process hasn't changed very much. We've added a few things here and there, and we tweaked a few things in, but it's just the process. I mean, you got to believe in the process. Our guys believe in it, and then when you get an opportunity to make a play, you have to make it. If you were to go back and watch every game where we slid down a defender as far as a sack is concerned, or a tackle for loss where they make us miss in the open field, and then go get an 8-9 yard gain, or a ball underthrown for an interception, or the process has to be the process, and that's what we'll continue to do. But there's a lot of energy and juice. We're competitors, and every week we're going to try to get better. In every phase, we try to focus on special teams. We try to focus on offense, defense, and the morale of the team, and just the plan. And that's what we're working on now. Thank you, guys.